You're like, you know, you have to. All right. 5:29. Let's do it. 5:30. Let's call this meeting to order. All right. Let's start with roll call.
Chair Roger.
Here.
Vice Chair Newland. Member Short. Member Wells.
Here.
Secretary Patterson. Here. Member Haley. Here. Trustee Beck. You have a quorum.
We have a quorum. All right, let's make a motion to review the agenda here. Let's move on to the agenda.
Did you make a motion? Is that what you just did?
Isn't that what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, you can. I second it.
Motion to approve.
To approve it.
Second.
We don't have minutes to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just take a look at it for a second. Anything to add? Any amendments?
Well, I think item 3, we can't discuss the role of the trustee liaison because it looks like Mike's not here unless he comes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's good idea. Yeah.
We can discuss it. Okay.
We'll tell him why you don't.
I was going to ask him, what do you see your role as? At least we can share our thoughts here. Okay. All in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Agenda is approved. All right, let's move on to actions and presentations. Item number 1, Cherry Days booth. You know, we're missing Craig Thompson. So, right? We're missing people that were handling this in years past. So, Cherry Days is coming up fast. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here. I'm going to Denver for the 4th. You'll be gone as well. So,
I can help. I've never done it before, but.
yeah.
That's cool. I think if we like make a determination of the time, like, I mean, if it's 1 day or 2 seems extreme. I don't know. If it's
Yeah.
1 day after the parade, like from 12 to 6 and people do 2-hour shifts or something like that, does that work for you?
Well, whatever. I mean, I spoke.
1 day sounds great.
And
12,
then
12 to 6. So that would be on, what day is, would that be
that
Saturday?
would be Friday is the 4th.
Is the parade in at 12?
The parade ends at 11. So then we come and just set up that.
Be setting up while the first people are getting
So
there.
set it up on the 4th.
Yeah.
From 12 to 6. Okay. So that would require,
We could set it up the night before. It's, you know, like, you have done that night before.
yeah,
Bring the stuff that you need that
Right.
Do we have a,
we have
We
a,
need a pop-up.
and I think is that with Mark, we find
Mark
out.
has everything. He's got
Okay.
the sign, he's got the pop-up, he's got the chairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and
we
the
need
table.
to talk to register and pay for the booth.
I'll deal with that.
Christina's gonna do that. All right, Christina's gonna reserve booth and Kimberly, you can help her with, on that Saturday, you'll be here.
yeah, is that, Saturday the 4th?
I'm sorry,
Friday the
Friday,
4th.
Friday.
the 4th.
And, yes,
So we're just gonna do it from 12 to
it's
5.
good. We keep that tradition going.
Yeah,
And I
think
have
it's
all
good.
the handouts. Okay.
and we could talk to Lisa and
Lisa and
Paula.
Paula, and maybe
Um,
even, who was that, that old tree board members, I mean.
Greg.
Greg.
You could ask Greg if he's
Okay.
interested. Okay, great.
So am I helping to set up? Is that what?
I will call you because maybe we could do it the night before
Okay.
and then it'd be done. That would be
Okay.
great. And then once we just get off our Cherry Days float.
So do you have my phone number?
I do.
Speaking of Cherry Days float, we have participated in a parade before.
Right?
I think my children held up a banner one year, but they were wrecked. Like it was just so exhausting
Yeah.
holding this banner for a whole day. But we won't be here. So thoughts on,
We found someone with a cool old car or something. I have like a lot of trees in pots, not huge ones, but enough to, put in the back of a truck and just put our banner like on the side of a truck and
okay,
just do it.
A truck with air conditioning, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be out when it is.
You can do it out the window, with the air conditioning going, right?
all right, so.
I don't know. I mean, we don't have to do a float. If there's gonna be like one person on it, then it's probably.
So-
not.
To do a float would be showing up at the time to line up, or do you have to get like a, do you guys know, like you have to get like
Yes.
a,
You
register?
You would register.
Register.
But I'm doing the parade, so I can just get us in.
Okay,
They gather
We-
you up in line at a certain time, I know that.
I do know that
It's
too.
8, you show up at 8 to 9, and then you get your number to line up, and
Okay.
then we're,
So
lined up.
it
It's
sounds like
15
Christine, you
minutes.
have a vision for this.
I don't know, I mean, is it like, it's gonna be some work, but is it worth it? I don't know.
Well, that's the question.
Yeah.
And so what we're committing to is the booth
Okay.
for sure, right? And then if the
If we get
parade
enough energy.
organically happens.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't keep it free.
do the parade.
But I'm very happy to help.
All right. So, all right, well, we have another 2 weeks.
Okay. All right.
Maybe we do a float if I could get, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. All right, so we good?
Good, yep.
Good on item 1?
So we are definitely doing the Cherry Days booth. We want to
Yes.
do that, okay.
I mean, do we need a motion to do that? To do that?
You don't have to. I just wanted to remind you to make sure to save your receipts if you find anything, so
Okay.
that they can be turned in.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Clear?
We will-
Moving to item number 2, Sick Tree Day, planning and promotion. So we have, this has been like probably one of the most popular things that we've done. Do you know about this, Kimberly?
Yeah, I had them when I first moved here. They came and looked at my weeping birch.
It was great, right? It was good.
Yes, it was, because I didn't know anything about weeping birches and it wasn't looking very happy, and they educated me on the fact that it wasn't getting enough water.
Nice.
Yeah,
And that the roots are very close to the surface. And I could tell whether,
spread the water out, right?
well, and that if the grass was brown, it wasn't getting enough water because the roots were so close to the surface. And that tree,
So we've had Jim Lesser from Cedar Edge in the past, although he was in an accident. I think he's okay. I think he's in recovery, but he's not able to help us this year. So
John's not here, well,
John is not here.
Tom's wonderful. He's just right there.
So who could we find? You have any ideas? Something's coming to me.
Glad his chair swivel or we would be.
So I guess the question is, if you're up for it, Tom, when would work for you? Because typically it's a Saturday,
It's a Saturday.
and then we want to get the word out so people can, in fact, I know of somebody who's got a tree who wants to be on the list already, so we just need to get word out, create the list, create the plan. I want to be part of it. I think it was great last year.
And last year it was June, like 20th, so
Yeah, so
we're
we're-
We
missing
need
that
to make
much.
sure to have enough time to
Yeah.
notice it.
Yeah.
We're totally missing
So
that.
like, for me, July 26th, but really what matters most is June.
are you gonna be willing to do it? Carl?
Let's see, what's my calendar say? Yeah, I can do it.
Is it sort of,
It's just a matter of when.
is it sort of on a Saturday? Is that when we do it?
Saturdays, I think, would be-
26th.
you can accommodate.
Actually, I won't be here the 26th.
28th.
I'm gone all of July. But,
you look at June.
Oh,
You're at the
oh.
wrong month.
oh, you want to do it this month?
I don't know. What do you-
I think that's too short enough.
Okay, July then.
July or August.
Push it
What if we
to
did August, the
I
9th?
think later in August, it's cooled off and people have experienced their problems with their trees, you know? What about you, Tom? Do you have plans in August?
What, yeah, what do you think?
Let's see, August. Let's see.
I can't do Saturday, August 30th. but-
Kids go back to school on the 11th of August. So, it's crazy.
Yes, it is. I have friends coming in on the 24th.
Oh, okay. So the 23rd is too like close to that.
16?
16th would work. I don't have anything going.
August 16th? What do you guys think?
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right. Say that now.
August
That's a
16th.
Friday.
No, that's a Saturday in my calendar,
Oh, that's 24.
like last year.
Saturday, August 16th.
At what time in the morning?
We
We should
typically
do
meet
it
at like
early.
8, is that too early?
I mean, let me get back. I need to get right to the same right year. I can explain what happened, but it isn't.
Living in the past is a real phenomenon.
So we're, actually, now that I'm ready to the current month, we're pretty good, and I have Saturdays who said they're all open. I know I have family coming in, maybe. My sister's comes during the week. And friends come and,
Well, what day would be which Saturday would be most convenient?
I'm open on every Saturday.
How about the 16th?
Let's do the 16th.
16th it is, all right.
And
And
normally,
do-
oh, sorry, last year it started at 9 AM, but do we want to do it earlier or?
What time do you want to do it?
What's a good start for you?
I think what, 9 or 10?
9.
Let's do 9, let's start at 9, that sounds great. 9 o'clock, August 16th, Saturday.
And we just schedule them out.
Yeah, we'll make sure the word gets out sometime in July.
People usually start calling about that time, asking us if the sign up list is ready, so.
Okay,
And then do we typically have them come in and sign up or call, or how does
Yeah,
that work?
usually it's at the front desk and people just come in we've had people call and ask to be put on it, but usually there's a sheet with times on it that you guys have provided, different things, and they'll put down their names and addresses.
That's the other question is how many hours that day? You're gonna have a limit.
Yeah,
Like
last
8
time we
people or
did
less?
what, 5 or 6?
And what are they, like 15-minute increments or
Oh, yeah, it has to be more than that.
30, I think.
30?
I think we have but I guess if you get them and then you schedule it, go through the town in a logical manner.
Right. That's
So
true.
until what time would you be comfortable doing
I
that?
can do it all day. It doesn't.
well, we do it until lunchtime and then have a lunch together, we did last year.
Yeah, and then that was it. We just went to lunch and then.
I think that was it, so.
That was it.
Could do up to 8 and be out of there, like done.
9, 10, 11, 12, yeah.
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 9.
So 9 to 12?
At 1 o'clock.
Yeah, so it's 9 to 1.
9 to 1.
Just schedule it all through and then we can go have lunch together
Yeah.
and not talk about trees and enjoy each other's company.
Not talk about sick trees.
I'm talking about tree board business.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right.
You had it right. You guys wanted to talk about puppies or something.
Okay.
Huts.
All
And
right,
then
good deal.
do we meet, where do we meet?
At the first one that it was, we met in the park last year.
Yeah, we just met at the park
And then we just sort of said, this is our plan.
and they went, yeah. So we'll meet at the park at what, 8,
9 AM.
9
Meet
AM?
in Town Park.
10 to 9.
We could change that, we can.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good deal. We good with item number 2?
Yeah.
Sick tree day. All right, item 3, discussion of role of trustee liaison. Mike Heck is not here. So,
Was there a question about what?
well, I think it was just to define what the expectations are, the role. I'm not clear on the role, actually, and maybe Mike had some thoughts on that, and so we could talk about it. Does anybody have thoughts that they'd like to share?
Yeah, I was kind of like with you, what is Mike envision, it's what his purpose is, but I guess he's supposed to be the mediary between us and the trustees.
But what does that mean?
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
I can historically, because I was the one who restarted the tree board, and then I became a member of the board of trustees, and so I became the liaison. Generally, they do a report, let the trustees know what's going on with the tree board. If there's decisions or stuff like that that goes through the town administrator and then up, they'd be there and be a part of that as well. And he's also a full voting member, according to the ordinance, so.
He's a full board voting member for the tree board.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
So,
That seems kind of weird because
planning commission, we have 4 members of the board on it, and they're all voting members as well.
but then that kind of skews it. You can skew it in the favor of the opinion of the council that.
You can rewrite the ordinance if you want and ask the board to adopt it, but that's the way it's set up, so.
I think just in the year past, it's like, I sort of still don't understand the budget for the tree board, and I was
Yeah.
hoping that
Well,
the
and then
liaison could help with that.
he's also supposed to come back on other stuff like the budget, back to us and bring
Yeah.
us other decisions that the trustees may have not made about the tree board or.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, and basically, you guys are one of the auxiliary or boards for the trustees and the administrator. And so they need to know what you're working on and what's going on,
Yeah.
be a part of the processes you guys are doing. Be able to, if we get something during a town meeting where we're like, let's have the tree board look at this, then it's his job to bring it back to you, be like, hey, the board wants us to look at blah, 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 and bring it back to them by the state. So.
Yeah. It would be good to get guidance on the budget as well, as we submit it in October.
and other policies that may affect us one way or another, even remote. And I know John gave a fairly depth of what's going on when he would review things that was going on with the town. So,
For instance, like with the budget, and I'm just gonna segue into that, because it has to be a big liaison, but it's not on the agenda. But what is the budget then? Like, how can Mike bring it to the trustees? Because how is the town going to work with citizens that have sick trees and want some help from the town, or want to cut their tree down, or want to plant a tree? Like, we still haven't gotten a definitive determination for that. And
How
it's
that
like,
works, right?
because people come to me and they're like, I want to plant a tree, and the skirting has, killed it. And like, will the town help? Because basically the town planted it, but it died, because of that skirting. And will the town help? I can give funds, but will the town give funds? And we don't know the answer to that. Like, is that a trustee question?
Seems like it
That's
would
an
be.
administrative question.
It's an administrative question.
The
So,
town administrator is the one who puts the budget together and then takes it to the board, for their input on it, and then takes it back and forth until it's finally accepted. So those budget discussions are ones you're gonna want to have with the town administrator. And I think we're getting ready to get into the budget
I was gonna say,
process.
it's that time of year, isn't it?
Yeah,
My
So,
memory of municipal.
so now would be a good time to decide what you would want to talk about and get in on that as early as possible.
yeah.
So do we come to those budget meetings or are we contacted or, because we haven't been in the past? Or what do we do? Just submit like a in writing?
Well, all of those, okay, so the staff level meetings, no, you don't
Okay.
come to. But anything that's presented to the board, you guys are, the public is allowed to come to.
And
So-
that's where we would present it, like, oh, hey, the tree board
Yeah.
wants to understand this.
Yeah, and if you guys wanted to like make specific things, I mean, the best way to do it would be to go through the administrator, but there's nothing that stops you from coming and having public comment during budget discussion either. Like I said, the board does that on almost everything that they do, you know, they open it up, they talk about it a little bit, and then they ask the public for any input. You know, so you have time at that point, you know, maybe we'd like to see, you know, more money for this, or maybe a program for blah, blah, blah. So that's just a matter of keeping track of the town meetings and what's going on there, but you really want to talk with Stefan, that's where you're gonna get stuff done, because he's the one who, especially being the treasurer, he's got a really, he knows what's going on with the town money better than just about anybody. So that's really where you want to start.
So we could use the liaison to get info about that. Is that
Yeah,
what-
or you could just come to the meetings. Yeah, the budget process is not at all quiet, it's fully transparent.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, we're starting it early this year so that maybe for once we don't have to scramble in the last 2 months of the year before meeting that December 15th deadline that we have to file with the state. So we've been working towards getting it to be a calmer process than it has been in the past, so, and we're pretty slated for that. So, I would say,
Sooner the better.
yeah, and definitely get a meeting with Stephanie.
Okay.
What you guys want to do, because even if you do get a budget, then when you guys decide to do stuff with that, it still has to go through the administrator for final approval before it goes through anything
Right,
else.
yeah.
Even after you have the
I
budget.
think, yeah, I think that's the question, is how to make our budget request line item for purchasing trees. Like that we were clear on that it wasn't just earmarked, but then we didn't really have a clear focus on how to access that earmarked money when the time came, you know, it's just like,
I would suggest having a meeting with the administrator where that's literally the only thing you guys are
Yeah.
discussing, is the budget process. Nothing
Yeah.
else on it, just, okay, explain to us how this should, how we should go about this.
yeah, that's great.
Well,
All right, so, meeting with. That's great.
Okay, that's.
All right, good. We're clear with, and we can put that on the July agenda with Mike, hoping that he's here and we can.
yeah, I think
Ask
that's
him.
good.
Well, I think, yes, and we should discuss like, just sort of brainstorm the line items that we look at
Yeah.
our budget from last year and just brainstorm the line items that, you know, come up that we want to.
So we can
Implement.
bring those.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a quick question that you may know the answer to. Do you need permission to plant a tree in the parking strip?
In the,
In the right of way?
yeah,
Do you need permission to plant like flowers?
no, just like a structure like that, a tree.
A tree,
Yeah,
so a bush or herbs or anything like that.
Anything that could potentially interfere with any utility lines or traffic stuff, or
Visibility.
that kind of thing.
All right, complete with item 3, moving on to
yes, and that was
4.
the action item, was that we were all gonna come with ideas of what we wanted to see in the budget line items.
Yep.
And
Budget line items. And then we'll get a meeting scheduled with Stefan.
And then, sorry to go back, but sick tree day, I'll work with Samara and just, you know, I'll get that
Okay,
thing printed up and then give it to
All right.
Samara.
And we always have John as a
Okay.
resource there. All right, moving on to item 4, discuss support of citizens with planting, pruning, etc. So this item is here. And it's sort of gonna go in with our conversation about the budget line item Because we want to allocate some money to do that in some way, whether it's supporting, whether it's based on the inventory, the high-risk trees, that are in front of somebody's property, but also planting, also tree care like this elm, elm or ash problems right there out there. But we need to do it, we need to give some thought to how to do that so that it's systematic. It's based on the inventory. Is that what we're gonna do? We're gonna like go through that and then just create a priority list?
That would be helpful to go through Cammie's inventory.
Yeah,
Might be helpful to have some more classes, no? Like training, like instead of trying to assist individual people.
Well, right, trying to have something for the public like you just did for the town.
But people are coming to some of us and saying like, I need help. from
but
the
you're
town.
talking more financial
Financial.
assistance.
But if you did trainings, there might be, like if you're gonna do handouts or pay anyone to do it. I mean, there's a lot of people who are well-intended that just are not knowledgeable about appropriate ways to plant trees.
Well, there's an education component for sure, right? And it's like if we have money to contribute to these right-of-way trees or the purchasing of or the pruning of, how are we gonna?
Well, first we have to figure out to have funds for that. It's gonna be a pricey item.
Well, I mean, we put funds in.
And I don't know,
Last year, we had like $14,000, right?
But we didn't really know, we didn't access it. because
Exactly.
We didn't know.
Well,
how.
we have to know what we want, right? So what do we want? Do we want to buy trees? Do we want to plant trees? Is that what we want?
That would be two
I
separate line
think this
items.
is more to assist if there's somebody. I think the example is saying, whatever tree, we come across a tree, whether we know about it or not, that's high risk tree that needs to be removed. And this person doesn't have the means to remove it, we assist, help them out some way to do that.
So it would be buying trees, it would be removing trees,
Trees.
it would be caring for trees.
Or,
and-
yeah.
And these would all be separate things in the budget.
So we need a list of buying trees, removing trees,
And then this,
assistance with sick trees.
Yeah, like, if they had scale or they, or
yeah,
the,
for treatment for
Treatment.
diseases, of just different diseases in pets, because we certainly, we have the emerald ash borer, which is around the corner, but it'll show up someday. I
Yeah.
guarantee you that. And then we have the other ongoing problems like with the scale and that we have, that some people are experiencing in their elms and that sort of stuff. But
and it's like that's a conversation because we can't get to like a definitive, like, well, how do we help out the community? Is it just the people that come and ask us? How do we do it in a way that's,
well, they have to show that they have or don't have the means to do that. And that's a tricky, how you have an application process to have them qualify. And I'm not certain.
Or
I've been away from this long enough that I don't know. I know there used to be a lot of different grant programs out there. I can't remember all the names, but
or maybe if they want to buy a tree, we help them put it in the ground
Well,
properly.
I think that's a different discussion. Do you want to just sell them to them? And then approve the planning? package?
I wouldn't want to do that because so many people don't know how to plant trees.
Teach them.
but that we also had discussed, like, we would be a part of the planting process and, handing out how to care for the tree. They're responsible for watering that tree, especially the first 3 years. But these are already existing trees also that we're talking about that have some
Issues.
for sure.
So, you could do like a class on planting trees and selecting appropriate trees, and the people that come to that class can be considered for a tree if they want one. I mean, people kill trees so frequently if you don't have some way. If we're not actually doing it and we're giving the
Yeah.
responsibility to
Well-
them, we need to be assured that they know what they're doing, right?
Right,
And the problem is, if we're asking to plant trees in the street right of way, people can go and promise till the cows come home that they're gonna take care of that tree,
yeah,
and then they don't necessarily. do it.
yeah, I mean,
Or they move,
they and right,
and then and
Or they-
the new homeowner or the resident of that property doesn't realize they're responsible to take care of that
they
tree.
go travel and
So there's a lot of different
variables, I know,
variables.
it's so true.
That's why I'm more one to say you make the purchase tree, then they have a buy-in to that tree and then when
And then we help them.
we help them.
Well, I think.
I mean, is there like $100, like we can contribute toward this tree, like a fund, like if, so that it's like we're contributing, but they're mostly buying it,
They're buying it and they're approving it. And, I know there's some good programs. Denver Digs Trees has their program. And they literally go through and approve every location. They get locates done. They know whether there's not, the ground's clear, it's not gonna be a vision problem.
So they have
They have
an approach.
an approach.
That's all good.
And so you gotta, and that's what we have to do. If you're gonna go whatever tree in somebody's yard, we're gonna have to get utility locates to make sure, for starts, that there's nothing under that tree
Right,
to do it. And then we have to look at whatever the ordinance is as far as planting distance and how many feet from the curb and that sort of stuff. So, and then that they've selected a right tree.
it's amazing we have so many trees that made it that far, this far. When you think about all the.
Yeah, do we have would we need a list just of approved trees or approved trees for that location?
I would say we give them a list of trees that,
Yeah.
and it's a short list, like 5, no more, probably no more than 10, that's probably too many, but around 5.
I would say if we are, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And you just have a good selection, a little versatility, but you want to start small, and if they want something, but we want diversification, but we want to make sure they're planting good quality trees.
Well, and there's like a height cutoff.
They're not too big, there's street trees in there.
Maples anymore.
Right,
So we have if we have a list and then we approve the location, once we look at it, perhaps we're not sure, provide some assistance with buying it, but where does the training come in? Do we do that?
It depends on how we do it. I mean, a lot of these places, you have a day where you're giving these trees out. Whenever you get them back, it's probably late April, May.
So maybe when they,
And
if they
when they
apply,
come to get the tree, you keep having kind of an ongoing tree planting clinic. There's lots of good literature out there.
so they
Yeah, you
would put in an
can-
application for the tree and that's
Yeah.
it.
I think if we have if we know our budget, that's sort of where it starts. And if we say designate $2,500 for new trees, we can buy 20 new trees at $100 each.
Yeah.
And then we make it known to the community, we've got 20 trees for you, who wants them?
Yeah.
And then they have to come here to a meeting, and then we go through the process.
Yeah, we could have.
And then
them
they're
come
all
in.
here, and that's like a buy-in that they are here.
We could make them a requirement is they have to come to a program that we'll
Yeah.
put on it. So
Yeah.
half hour,
I like it.
45-minute program.
Yeah.
Where we go through video,
But-
and put a PowerPoint together and show them how to plant a tree properly.
yeah,
But that would be cool if we could have
mean-
citizens, 20 trees planted on those streets,
Mhm.
every year.
I mean,
That'd be
wouldn't it be great to like we have Sick Tree Day that, like Arbor Day, we go and help like the first 3 houses plant the tree. And people who are buying in, they can come and watch, right? And then they have that, we talk through it, plan it, get them good, go to the next one, do a few of them.
And it's a small enough, we're talking 20 trees, we could probably get either one of us to bring, some of us have trucks, so we can either haul them, or maybe we could get the assistance of Public Works for one day to drop them off for us. And make it that way, or they're small enough that the homeowners should be able to transport them.
Do it all in like a Saturday, Sunday, like we could do it all in one
Yeah.
weekend, have it a big
20 trees,
weekend, one day.
that's not a lot of trees,
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot of
Yeah.
trees, but it really isn't. And if we're talking, if we say we go to the Trees Across Colorado, which is a good place to supply some trees for us, they're all like 1 gallon or 5 gallon trees, they're 1 inch diameter, they're small trees, but they'll outperform any big tree over the next 5 years. If they're planted properly and taken care of.
Wow.
And the whole beauty of them is they're small trees, people can easily handle them and plant them. Either they come in pots, or they come in tree bags, or whatever, and they're easy to work with.
That's great.
So we have an application, we have a list for them to choose from. We approve the location. We provide the money for the tree. They go through a program and then we provide assistance.
We can see how the town wants to work with it, with the town buying trees and then selling them to the citizens. There's that.
Selling
Thing with
them,
Sales tax and all that good stuff.
So we're
that they gotta
selling them
do.
or not?
no, we have a budget and we'll see if it flies. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the first thing.
Oh, so we're working on the hypothetical that we have a budget and we're
We
giving.
have a
them away.
budget, we're giving away the trees, but we're asking for the buy-in from them.
I just am trying to get like a way, like a set of steps that we go through.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. The buy-in is that we have a big meeting and everybody that wants a tree comes here and we do a little like education.
But I think we need to have like an application process.
Yeah, yes.
Of course, yes.
Yes.
And in,
Yeah, the
and in
simple
that
little
application
application.
is a list of
Name,
trees.
address, phone number, which tree you want, maybe why do you want to plant this tree, something simple.
What your
Very-
address is. Yeah,
Can you send me your notes on that? Like, it sounds like you've got a good little,
Just churning.
I just want us to like rehash this again because we haven't come up with a process. that's all.
And maybe we can revisit this at the next meeting, because this is all tied into budget. And we gotta get funds to do that.
Hopefully, and that's where it goes like through the trustees. Is that a good idea?
Yeah.
Do they want to spend 25?
Well, and then we actually kind of have to have a process in place, because we're gonna be asked to present this idea to somebody,
Correct.
even if it just stops at staffing.
So- One question. You said like 20 trees, just as an example, potentially 20 trees.
I'm gonna go more into that.
So what if we got 50 applications? What are we gonna do?
You have a lot of it.
Okay.
Or we could say, date that you submit that. I mean, are
Yeah.
you serious enough to get your application?
first
I would
come, first
rather,
served.
I would rather have a lottery because some people are not gonna hear about it right away.
I think a lottery feels fair.
More fair,
you
yeah.
know, More fair. Just because, people don't hear about it and then they're mad that they didn't,
But the thing is, if you get just a small amount of trees, you get people excited about it. And we say we have 20 trees and we do have that 50 people, next year you can order 30 trees.
Right.
I wouldn't go ordering 50
Yeah,
trees,
I
but
think-
you kind of build on it and you grow the program. To a point, you gotta get to one, plus, why we have to think about what if we don't sell those trees?
Okay, so just let me,
That's where they go, but
Yes,
that's,
that would have to be defined.
you have to define that.
so let me go through this again and see if I got it right, because he wants my note. So we obviously put out notice, that'll probably help us, that we're gonna do that. Then people have to put in an application. I would think, put the list of trees in the application so they could say what kind of tree they want, so we don't have to deal with that later. We would look at the location, so we would want that information on their application, where the location would be, and we'd have to approve the location. And then the people that would be chosen by lottery, and those people would have to come to a tree program when they come to pick up their trees or they don't get their trees. And then we assist with planting them. Do we have a follow-up training, follow-up anything with them? or-
I think we open ourselves up that if they have questions, we can go visit or help.
So just follow up
I think we could do-
availability?
I think we could do a general
And
like
we gotta
follow-up,
emphasize,
like-
there's no guarantee, there's no warranty.
That's right.
That's the other one.
Plants with it,
You,
you touch.
you plant it, it dies on your dime, your watch, we aren't gonna replace it.
Yeah, but a bulk email, after a
I
few
mean, we can
months.
do it case by case, but in general.
Right,
All
and
right,
to
that's
start
good.
all that was the budget line item. Yeah, and that's a great list.
Okay, excellent.
So, and then as far as tree assistance for tree care, I think that has to be a pot of money. And I don't know if the town is up for a pot of money that we give money away.
I mean, if we,
Which line item is this under that we just talked about?
this is all under four,
Okay.
if we had a little budget for treatment, it would, in my mind, have to be based on Tammy's report,
Yeah.
so that we could, then we're driving it. You know what I mean? We're looking at it and saying, these are the priority trees. And then just like we did with this, like, we can't do them all. But if we could start, then we can be going down that list and looking at trees that are,
Seems like sorry.
I mean, I think with this whole thing, maybe we should look at making some sort of, we're gonna work with partnership of the homeowners, even though the town's responsible for those street right of ways. We're partnering with you to care for these trees, and we can help you care for these trees. And we may not be able to provide you a lot of financial assistance, but we can give you information and where to go.
And again, that's sort of putting it out to the community, seeing what comes back. We already know that a lot of people, well, some people have approached me going,
Yeah.
I've put in $3,000 for my tree already and I can't afford it anymore. And, it's got scales, and can the town help a little bit?
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff. We can take the history of it also into account, like how much they've taken care of that tree, but
But I think it has to be they have to provide something, because you gotta be careful that you can't just help one person 100% and not help another person.
yeah, it has to be
So
equal.
we have to figure this back.
Yes.
So
I
anyway, I
ask
think
her a
the
question?
tree planting would work. Well, that's a different program, but I think we can.
That
On that
seems-
application, do you guys do applications online? Like, would there be an easy way to do that?
We're in the process of developing.
When do you think that would be available?
It depends on how detailed of an application you want.
Well, I'm just thinking it would be nice in this application if they could upload a picture of where they want the tree, so that would help us when we're going through the
I
application.
think
That's gonna be going too far either.
Yeah,
I think we just go visit and
okay.
meet with the home.
Say, put in contact information, under, we're interested in this, that, or the other thing, and then that contact.
So they just pick up an
information goes along with the
application?
tree board.
At the office, paper one?
Well, you could probably do something with Google Forms or some other program or software.
Well, what do you think? Do we want a paper application to pick up? That might be the easiest.
Okay, but yeah,
But yeah, no, we're in the process.
okay, we'll figure that out if we get
Okay,
it.
we got the cart in front of us a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, you go ask for money if you can present, like,
They know,
plan.
yeah, that we're thinking about it, yeah.
you present a plan and it's thought out and they understand what you're doing, and then it
But
just sort of
we
speeds
could
things
even go as far as they print a form out, fill it out, and then they email it back to
Oh, yeah,
a
that's an
at the
idea.
location. It doesn't have to be 100% electronic, like Google Forms or something like that.
we good?
I think so.
All right, that was good discussion. Item 5, co-tree view. So this is the updating of the records of trees that have been removed or planted, right? So I think the reason I put it here is you and I had a conversation about sort of maybe educating the board on what that looks like, because I don't know how to do it. And we haven't necessarily been doing it, right? Like on this, no. So we need to have that conversation. So You know how to do it. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, at some point, I just feel like we're keeping up with, like, for instance, Cami did the town park inventory in August of 2024. And then since then, several trees have come down. We've removed, I think we removed like 4 trees, right? So those we need to update.
For starts, I guess, yes, a tree inventory is only as good as the time and effort you put into it. It's a great tool, but it has to be kept up to date. Does it have to be kept up to date 100% to today? No, but it should be kept up within a year or so. But you need to always, when I was operating my tree inventory in Broomfield, my guys had access to record the trees they moved, remove the trees they pruned. And so that we were keeping track of maintenance activities on there. And then with the trees that we moved, then I could go back and query those trees that were removed over the last year and start putting together a list of trees that need to be planted. And so that's what's critical here. And I don't know what happened with that tree inventory or what they did, but it's only as good as you keep it up to date. And it's tough to get every detail out of it. But if it's 80 or 90% correct, you're pretty good. I think.
Pretty good, okay.
But you know, I think
So
like,
how long would that take, do you think, to give, if we schedule a meeting just on that,
an hour, maybe 2.
an hour?
If we were just gonna go and let everybody kind of look at the process, more of a training process
That would be great.
that we go through and we go over and look at, okay, that maple, that's gone now. This is what we're gonna do to what you do in the program to remove it or update it.
You mean like the tree board had a workshop?
Yeah.
The tree board, well, we're gonna
Yeah.
invite the public to come.
Yeah. I thought I don't know, trustees, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's
we'll
ask that
schedule a
question.
meeting for it and then, yeah, it's open.
yeah, I
to
think
the
it
public.
would be for us,
Yes,
Right.
but it's how the rules that we're under, we have to invite
Right,
the
for
public.
sure, okay. No, that makes sense. We should do that. And then after that meeting, that it's updated sort of and you show everybody. Like maybe we could designate it to one person to do
Yeah.
that.
is that a time of year, like, I know we're all busy, we're traveling September, like,
September, October, I mean, as long as it's a nice day,
okay,
it doesn't, I mean, even if it's, as long as it's not snowing, which we would be very appreciative of snow.
So you're talking about doing a training out in the field?
Yeah, we go to town park.
yeah, and we'll have our
And I think
phones,
that's
right?
where, yeah, we have our phones, or you bring your tablet and we'll show you how to get logged in and get the app going. And actually, it's not an app, I don't think they have an app yet, you just log into their website and you do it.
Okay, and there's a version of it, like, there's different versions, right? So we have access to a version, but it's not
I
a
think it's-
final copy, is it? Is
Yeah,
it?
it is.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, whatever we do is, if you make a mistake, it's
there.
It's there. Because I went through
All right.
messing with it and added some trees, and then I went back through and took them out.
Do we want to try to get that on the calendar for September or October? Or do we, what do you think?
That we should just come up with a couple dates and then maybe reach out to Mark and see if he can do that date and
Okay,
Yeah.
Lisa.
Yeah.
Because I know she works days, so.
all right, so follow up on September, October dates for coach review training. That's great,
That's really.
all right,
and
Great.
Yes, then that's.
so we're good, item 5?
Yep,
Item 6, Mark's not here, but we were having a subcommittee update on town park priority, again referencing the existing inventory and looking at creating a priority list based off of that. So we should just hold off on
Let's
that.
hold off on that.
Let's hold off.
Well, and that would be something if Mark and I could get that together, that could be touched on
Yeah,
during our training. So you guys can actually look at the trees. I'm more than happy to talk as trees. See, let you know what I'm looking at.
yeah, okay.
But, you know, it, I think it'd be, we can incorporate that into the same training, I think.
Okay, we'll do that. Item 6.
But yeah,
We will.
we just need to limit the time to probably the 2 hours to do that, or whatever training we did.
Okay. We good?
Mhm.
Move to item 7. There's been conversation about a master planting plan for the parks, Town Park, Apple Valley, Lee's Park. Assigning that. I know Mark has been very interested in that. So I'll make a motion, make Mark in charge of that.
You should have been doing that this whole agenda.
I'll teach you what I'm doing.
You can't really do that.
No, we.
It's just a joke. It's a joke. All right.
You do that, then somebody's gonna do it to you, so.
All right, but what is the next step here?
Wouldn't that come after that coach review or no? So does that, would that integrate into it? We should do the update on the coach review and then do the master plan of the park? I don't know that matters.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
The coach review has an ability to put in planting sites.
Oh, well, that's fantastic.
So maybe when we
So-
all understand that, know how to do it better, that would be a better time to.
You know, obviously, a tree that was removed is a potential planting site. But, you know, you can go through like Lee's Park or whichever one, where it's basically a blank slate, you could walk through it, they'd be cool to put a tree here, be cool to put a tree here.
Right.
Now, do we want to make it more professional than that and have an actual plan? And that requires a little more
Yeah,
work, and that would be, again,
well, right. I
a
know
budget item if we want to put together a professional.
Apple Valley has trees there, there's some opportunity. They're all different, right? Lee's Park, sort of wide open,
Yeah,
but
it's a
we
blank
wanted
slate.
to involve the community there. So we don't come in and plant something that's disruptive.
That would be a first step, no? Like have meetings that identify each park and anybody can come and talk about it. And then there's not a lot of discussion about what we want to do, because why do that until you know what people want or what they're gonna object to?
Sure,
Because, you know, like, for example, in Apple Valley Park, they play frisbee golf, so that would be a
Yeah, that's a
consideration.
piece
for
that-
sure.
Yeah, whatever the function, one of the functions of the park, you definitely got to consider that before you start playing.
And if you don't get the opinion of people beforehand, then they get very distressed
Well, yeah,
and they express it vehemently.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why, in a way, we could start with Lee's Park because it's, you know, pretty, it's like 25 houses and we could get the word out to all of them, like we could have a charrette sort of Saturday.
I think
boarding
you
them
need
all
to
in there.
tell everyone though, not just the
Oh,
people.
oh, yeah,
of course,
the whole
yes.
town's involved. But
It's
yeah.
open to everybody, but yes. But the master plan of these parks should come after the, you know, the
I mean, we certainly could take a first pass just from a tree board perspective of like, this is what we see. Or come, you know, some ideas or like, cause you know, in the town park, the canopies, you know, there's some open spaces, but we're thinking diversity of trees there.
Yeah, I think the approach at Town Park is more replacing trees as we remove them.
Right.
We have to be careful because it has a multiple function park. It has its fairs and the
Right.
functions that are there, where you have vendors involved, where you can't take away those spots by planting a tree.
No.
So
We're
you
trying
have
to
to
like
be
replacing as the canopy shifts, right?
Yeah.
We're just trying to think about how to replace, maintain it, basically.
Maintain it and keep it as it is, and as we remove trees, we need to replace trees in that part.
You know,
And creating that understory
Yeah.
also, that's not really there.
uh,
So if we could do the coach review sort of in September, right, like we're thinking, and then sort of talk more about that master planning for the parks,
Mhm.
and we could go and visit every park again.
Yeah.
In October, you know.
and part of this in my mind is that Cami did have a lot of action items for the different trees, some of them like girdling root, you know, like things that weren't too big, but she just was like, this needs to be done here.
Yeah.
And so it's like going back to that, making sure that we're initiating some of those corrective steps, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if it has a girdling root, we need to go cut that girdling root. You know, but if it had, but whatever its issue is, we need to start putting together a plan. And does that mean that we probably need to hire an arborist or someone
Right,
to do that for us?
right.
We can put together a to-do list.
The to-do list.
So that would be another request for
Yeah.
funds.
I think the
Could be
whole
an
priority
arborist.
list that Mark wants to
Yeah.
put together, that's not only removal, but it involves the tree care, pruning and whatever
That
else
would
that
be
tree
great to have.
needs.
That would be
And then
great.
we can put together and then all I know is if you put together something for budgetary purposes, the more details you have on what you want to do with that money, your chances are better.
Yeah,
The better you show
yeah,
the
right.
the trustees that the vision, then that helps.
And apparently we have like 20 grand this year,
So
so
the
we
only,
better spend it.
the only two items that we've come up with that we know we want to request money for are this, the arborist to address issues with the trees and potentially getting trees to put in people's parking.
So the street trees.
Has there been anything else that we,
The thing is that we also have to figure out, like, we had a budget for this year, but we didn't really understand the line items.
Yeah,
So if we had spent some of that
I
this
think
year.
during our budget talk with Stefan,
Stefan.
we need to delve into
Like,
the process.
correct, like, how much can we actually spend? Because this year's not over. We have
Yeah,
like
right.
6 more months, it's only half the
Well,
year.
and if that's it, then we need to at least come up with, unless we can spend the money real quick for stuff, removing
For sure.
trees.
But we should spend that money.
$5,000.
Yeah.
We
wow,
have the availability.
wow.
Yeah, the large trees are expensive.
Yeah, I have one that like
Particularly if
just
you
needs
need
to
something.
be pruned and I can't afford it to be pruned.
Great, oh, I know. All right, very good, so, we're good there with item 6. And
So can I
item
just
7, sorry.
understand, we're gonna, with that item 6, we're gonna discuss that, but this, what we were just talking about,
Item 7, sorry.
7. The master planning, we're gonna wait until we have done the training on co-tree. So that we're,
I think we can keep discussing it. I'm not sure exactly how, we need to figure out how we want to approach to get particularly public input. And get that whole thing going.
it seems like it would be helpful to have us all understand co-tree and understand how budgeting works before we start trying to make a master plan.
Yep. They don't think they can go together, but we don't want to put the cart before the horse. You know, too far ahead. You know, and
But it would be helpful to know from Mark, like, what's he thinking about how to outline that priority list? Because, I mean, you could have that go pretty quickly. You could have 30 trees on there. And we don't have a lot of money for that.
Right,
And how he was thinking he's gonna do that from the Cami Long study, just?
I think that's a good place to start.
it's a good place to start.
A what study?
The Cami Long study,
She's-
the forester.
She's the forester that did the town park inventory, she also did the street.
She's a professional and she's.
You don't have a copy of that, I'll send you a copy.
When was that?
Well, there was one done, I think, in 2020. It was all of this right-of-way trees. And then the most recent town park update was 2024. I think she'd done the first one like 2018, I think is right.
So, yeah, and if we're spending money, we're not that far away to hiring them again to go through
Street
the
trees.
street trees.
So,
That's a year or two away.
right, that's right. And what's the window on the CSA grants? Do you know when they
Like
typically,
the CTC.
CTC? that's right.
They typically come out at the end of the year.
So like for us to apply for this next year, I have to look at that because I want us to get, because we got support for.
Yeah, I would just say go to CTC's website and look up their grant process. And
Yeah.
when it starts, it typically started in like October, maybe September, but it's coming up close. We're gonna be to September soon.
Cut off, yeah.
Yeah,
What's
What was that?
Colorado Tree
coalition.
Coalition?
All right,
Okay,
we good?
yes,
So should we adjourn this meeting? Let's make a motion to
I
adjourn
think
the
so,
meeting.
these guys have to do that.
You guys, everybody good?
Yes,
Anyway.
perfect.
Oh, yeah, nobody cares if we're.
We don't want to keep these.
That's what I. I was like,